So I've noticed that quite a few of you guys have been commenting on posts or even just posting about how you are hoping to be better with like resisting cravings, or to learn how to like make those cravings go away, or how to have self-control when they come up. And I just decided that I would share with you something that I've been learning recently. I'm a huge nerd, and basically anything that I care about, like I am a learner, so I want to learn anything and everything about it that I possibly can. So since I have become passionate about nutrition, I have spent a lot of time reading, a lot of time watching videos and documentaries, and reading articles, just all kinds of anything and everything, testing things out on my own body, and teaching it to people. So one of the things that I've been learning recently, which totally goes into play with the whole idea of cravings, and obviously there are different parts of what make your body crave something. Sugar specifically causes corn, so high fructose corn syrup specifically, and then there's a whole bunch of different names that the FDA allows companies to call sugar so that they don't have to claim that there is much of it in the food as there actually is. So like, say I'm eating something and it actually has like 30 grams of sugar in it, and so on the ingredient list they'll break that down into like 10 or 12 different names for sugar, and they're given those different names based on like how hot it was made in the factory, or how whatever, like what it was taken from before it was converted into this thing, or what kind, how much of this chemical was put into it as opposed to how much this chemical was put into that one. And because they can call them all these different names, then now some of them are only 1 gram, right, and some of them are 2, and some of them are 5, and some of them are 6, and so then they can be bumped down on the ingredient list, and so it's not in the first 2 or 5 ingredients or whatever, just a way to trick us into thinking that there's not as much sugar in the food as there actually is. So anyway, sugar specifically highlights the part of your, same part of your brain that opiates do, a drug. So, and they're like the most addictive drug ever. So literally your body gets addicted to sugar. So if you are having withdrawals from sugar, like your body, your brain's going to tell you I need more of that, just like it would if you've ever done drugs or been addicted to anything really. I mean, people can be addicted to working out, and because it gives us so much adrenaline and endorphins, and when we're low on endorphins, we can think that working out is going to fix our situation that we're in, when in reality, all it does is make us feel better in the moment and doesn't actually fix anything. Doing it consistently over a long period of time will, however, promote certain characteristics in who you are that then will help you in those situations in ways that you wouldn't have been able to deal with originally because you didn't have that characteristic. That's all beside the point. What I wanted to talk to you about was this thing that I've recently learned about called microbes. So your body is composed of over 70 billion different human cells, and those all make up like who is you, who you are. So there's over 70 billion different human cells that make up who I am on the inside, the outside, my brain, my eyeballs, everything. There are 10 times as many microbes inside of me and on me that I am unaware of because they're not a part of me. It's kind of weird, but basically the easiest way to explain it is that they're like these little aliens. Your body has been abducted by aliens called microbes, and microbes have been around on the earth since forever, and they are in the grass, they're in your carpet, they're, I mean, in your wallet, on the money you touch, they're in everything and on everything. And because they've always been around, it is easy to believe that they're not there, or to even recognize like what it is that they do. What I've learned though is that, and sorry I'm so totally nerdy, this might be interesting for only one of you, and I'm okay with that. What I've learned is that over 80%, or about 80% of your immune system is made up by microbes, and microbes' sole purpose is to survive. So they don't think, they don't have a personality, they're not like really, I don't know how to exactly explain it. They're kind of like a germ. So they're kind of like little thing. Like a germ. So all they want to do is survive. And so the way that they survive is by being fed. And then when they survive, they multiply. So essentially your immune system is mostly found in your gut. It's in your intestines, and 80% of your immune system is made up by these microbes. So that's why it's so important that what you eat like affects your health, is because your immune system, which is what promotes health or makes you sick and causes inflammation and all of those kinds of things. It's in your stomach. So what you eat directly affects your immune system. Now, 80% of your immune system is built up by these microbes, which are not actually a part of you. So they don't actually know what you need. The 70 billion human cells in your body, those dictate what it is that your body needs. And there's 27 different essential micronutrients that your body needs, that those 70 billion human cells need in order to function at best capacity. Shakeology is amazing for meeting that need. And then just eating whole, real foods, obviously, helps that. So what happens though is that these microbes in you, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of them, and so some of them that live and multiply based on how much protein they get, and some of them, and like different kinds of protein, and there's a whole bunch of different kinds of, for the different kinds of carbohydrates, and there's some that survive on sugar, and there's some that survive on fats, and the different kinds of fats, and so there's all these different like kinds, which is really interesting. So they're the ones that live inside of our body, live there because they are fed and breed based on the what's called macronutrients. So your macronutrients is your fat and your protein and your fiber and your carbs and that. So these things live inside of you, and they are constantly telling you that they need to be fed because they don't want to die. So if you are somebody who eats a lot of sugar, maybe you're somebody who used to drink soda and you decide to stop drinking soda, inside of your stomach, inside of your intestines, are these microbes that have multiplied over the years because you have been drinking soda, or maybe you used to drink a lot of alcohol, and so these microbes that specifically feed off of what it is called alcohol have multiplied a ton, and they live inside of you. And so as they're starting to die off because you're not feeding them anymore, they're telling you, like, they send signals that say, hey, I need this, I need this, I need this, and we interpret it as, I have to have some sugar right now, like I'm about to go crazy, or I really need to eat this pizza because I haven't had carbs in a long time, my body's just deprived, or like, screw it, I've been doing so good for so long, like I'm just gonna go for it. So the trick is to deprive those microbes long enough to where they would die out in your body, and then to not eat that stuff anymore so that you don't get those mixed signals. Because the reality is that those 70 billion human cells that also live inside of you, that actually make up who you are, they are also telling you what it is that they need. But your 70 billion human cells are constantly regenerating, so they're never actually going to just die off until you die, obviously. So the microbes, it's almost like they send a stronger signal because their life or death depends on it, and your 70 billion human cells all work together to keep you alive, and until you are facing death, they don't signal that strong of a reaction. I hope that kind of makes sense a little bit. So anyway, all that to say that if you are struggling from cravings, like, no guilt. You are not allowed to feel guilty for that. There is so much grace for you, and you need to know that every time you give into that craving, all that means is you're going to have another one. And every time you give into that craving, all that means is the next time you try to say no, it's going to be that much harder. So the reality is that the first time you decide, I'm not going to eat this thing anymore, I'm not going to be this type of person, or I'm not, like, whatever it is, like, this applies to everything in your life. When you start to walk away from something that you know that is not good for you, then you decide to turn around and come back to it, it is so much harder to walk away again. I hope that you can begin to say no to the bad microbes, the little aliens that have taken over your body. And some of you probably think I'm insane now. My husband does. When I told him about this, he was like, there's not aliens living in me, I just want macaroni and cheese. So it's okay if you think I'm crazy, but it's really interesting to learn about. You don't believe me, you can totally look it up. I'm reading one of Darren O'Lean's books right now called Super Life, and he's the creator of Shakeology, and there's just so much good stuff in this book, and it's like slapping me in the face with nutrition facts that I never thought that I would even care about, but it's interesting and fun to learn because it affects my body, and my body affects the world around me, and the world around me comes back and affects my body. So the cycle of how we treat ourselves is very important.